Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The host of the Mindless Midnight Show would like to welcome you to their latest episode full of late-night humor as we explore just about anything with our very special guest. Without further ado, here are your hosts, Nick and Josh.
Warning, some of the contents of this podcast may be found offensive. This podcast is not for the weak, lack of experience, and common sense, including children, unless they have been given permission.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mindless Midnight Show. Today we have a super special guest, Justin Atherton, who is a law enforcement officer, and he is going to talk to us about all sorts of awesome stuff today. Justin, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, guys. I appreciate you having me on here. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
We are really excited. So first things first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I've been in law enforcement for over 14 years. I've done everything from being on the SWAT team, being a detective, training officer, supervisor. So I've run the gambit of pretty much everything you can do within law enforcement. My main focus now is really on my coaching business, which I started about 2.5 years ago, which is called Confidence Unchained. I'm focused on the virtual summit that we are having come out at the end of February. It's a virtual summit focused on men helping men, and really I'm super excited about that, guys. So that's my main focus right now.
Nice. Okay. So that's right now, obviously, with COVID being the shitstorm that it is, that's all virtual, right?
Sure.
Which is great.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's all virtual event.
I mean, it can be. I mean, we've got listeners in the UK and all over, so anybody could get services from you and can actually work with you no matter where they are, which is really cool. So what made you come up with the idea to want to do that?
Actually, it came from my passion for training. You know, training different officers, whether it was in a supervisor role or whether it was in just the one-on-one training officer role. I found that is what I was really passionate about, and the immediate feedback I get, like from being able to share this stuff and see an impact in someone's life and being like, hey, this stuff works. Like, holy crap, it's changed my life, not just my business life, but my personal life and every interaction I have. So I get a lot of reward out of it, you know, seeing the men that I work with just change their lives, man. And it's simple stuff if you can just apply it on a consistent basis.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's hard for a lot of people to do, though. I mean, like people that are able to train like you can. For you, it's easy. Like, it's like, I mean, boom, boom, boom. And other people they drop off, or, you know, a lot of it. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with, you know, like a New Year's resolution. It's like, I'm going to do this and this and this, and like 3 weeks into it.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that's kick ass. So
is this like a get rich quick scheme? It's just a get confidence quick.
No, I share it. It's not easy because, like you said, you know, people they have a tendency to drop stuff off quickly. And what's the statistic? Like by February 8th or by Valentine's Day, everyone's gotten rid of their New Year's resolution. Yep. So it's not an easy thing. And I tell any of the men I work with, I'm like, hey, up front, this isn't easy shit. No. Like, you have to be consistent. You have to want this stuff. And, you know, I'm pretty blunt. Like I don't sugarcoat this stuff. I know that there's like some coaches out there that are like, hey, it's all about the motivation. It's like all this fluff. Screw that. Yeah. I'm going to point out, I'm like, hey, look, like, this is where you're messing up. Okay. Can you handle that? Can you handle with me pointing out the shit that you're doing that's not lining up with where you want to be in your life, and go, hey, snap out of it. Yeah. Do something if you actually want to, you know, change something in your life. So no, it is not get confidence quick scheme, because that's that doesn't happen.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, no. God. I mean, liquid courage is pretty good.
Liquid courage.
Hey, that's the short term stuff. So
yeah, exactly. Well,
no, that's definitely something people need.
I agree, because I already fell off my New Year's resolution. Mine was to actually quit the Mindless Morning Show with Josh, and I still haven't quit. So I mean, god dang, I'm still here.
This guy.
So that's awesome, and I really like that too. And so going back a few steps, when you first got into law enforcement, what inspired you to make that jump?
I wanted to put bad guys in jail.
Yeah, I like it.
I used that in my interview. They asked me, why do you want to be the police? And I said, I want to put bad guys in jail.
Check.
You're
I love
hired.
to ask people that question, like new officers or people that, I think we cut out there for a second.
That's all right.
I didn't catch what you guys. So yeah, I used that in my interview, guys. I said, I want to put bad guys in jail. I've heard a lot of people give the static answer of like, I want to protect my community. And it's like, well, how do you think that you're going to do that? Like, how do you think you're going to accomplish that? And they don't really think past the surface level answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, well, I'm going to go out there and do what I need to do. And like, you have no idea what it is you need to do. So like, I like people to give an honest answer. I asked the guy the other day, I was like, a new guy that wants to be a police officer, especially now. I'm like, why do you want to be the police? He's like, I want a job where I'm active. He's like, I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, so that's part of it. And I said, that is an honest answer. I said, I can appreciate an honest answer rather than some fluff that you're going to give about why you want to.
Exactly. Or somebody's like, why do you want to be a police officer? Well, man, I got a trigger happy finger. I got me tell you. I'm like, oh, dude.
Not so good. Not so good. That, yeah, no. You go be a fireman. You can just pull that hose whenever you want.
Yeah. It's my dad told me something that always stuck with me, and he told it. I mean, I talk like he's not around. He's very around, but he said, the key to success is knowing what to do and then doing it. And I'm like,
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's super simplified because, if you don't know what to do, figure out what you need to do. And once you do know, actually do it. So I don't know. That's always stuck with me ever since he told me that when I was like probably in diapers.
There's a lot of levels to that, right? Because it's like, you said, you have to know what to do. You have to figure out what to do. Are you confident in knowing that is actually what you need to do? And then the taking action part, that's where a lot of people freeze up. And that fear kicks in, that fear of failure, that fear of looking bad or making the wrong choice. And that's where a lot of men get stuck, man, and taking action. And it almost links up with the idea, the saying knowledge is power. But that's not necessarily true, because it's applied knowledge is power. Because unless you're actually doing something with that knowledge you have, just because you read 50 books this year doesn't mean you didn't do shit. What did you do?
Absolutely.
That's true.
I agree, 100%.
So like you read online how to make bombs, but once you know, I'm just kidding.
What's wrong? We're gonna get arrested. What are the hosts of the Mindless Morning Show? All right, send them, boys.
Josh, you're the one that's gonna get arrested, right? No.
Yeah, probably.
You said you want to put bad guys in jail. Josh is your guy.
Yeah.
All right. You a bad guy, Josh?
No.
Allegedly.
So
no,
I mean,
we're family men, and we're pretty chill.
Aside from you, obviously you wanted to put bad guys away. Did it start with the passion of you wanting to be a detective or a SWAT person, or did you just jump into law enforcement and see where it took off?
Yeah, I just took it wherever it led me. So the first thing I became was a training officer. That was the first thing I got exposed to. And then I was like, well, what else can I do from here? Like, I could be a SWAT team. I could go the negotiator route. I could be a detective. And so that's just how it panned out for me. So right after being a training officer, got to be on the SWAT team. And then after being on the SWAT team for a short time, I moved to being a detective, but still on the SWAT team. It was always about pushing myself and finding like, what else can I do? Like, how else can I take my skills and sharpen them and keep moving up? And I really like the idea of being part of that elite group.
Mm-hmm.
The ones controlling
being part
like
of the SWAT team.
Global.
There's more training you have to go to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and plus, like everything. So it makes you able to do whatever they require. So I mean,
Yeah.
it really makes you an indispensable part of the machine essentially of what you can do. You can do everything.
Sure.
So that's
Yeah,
really
the more stuff you get involved with, for sure.
yeah, and that's a good mindset to have, especially if anybody's listening that's young and thinking about trying to get into something like this, or really anything that you want to do with your life. Try to think about ways to be fleshed out about it with every aspect of it, not just one. Yeah, that's perfect. So one thing I was thinking of, is there do like people that are in SWAT teams, do they also do things like riot police and stuff like that? Are they kind of interchangeable if that comes up?
It's a little bit different, and every agency is going to work with it differently. How we did it is that the people that were the special response group, they would be the people that you would see maybe on the news that were that front line for the riots or something like that.
Right.
The SWAT team would normally be behind them. They would be the more surgical unit, really like, oh, where do we need to grab someone in the crowd? So they might be behind the line, and they would be like, okay, hey, this person right here is one causing the disturbance. Go grab him, pull him back, stuff him in the van or the truck or something, and so that's how we plan to run it. But obviously different agencies are going to have different techniques that they use. Normally the SWAT team wouldn't be the ones on the front line there because they're more purpose driven and whatever that's skilled, whether it's recovering a downed officer or serving warrants. So it's a little bit different. It wouldn't be the ones on the front line.
Well, that makes sense. I was curious about that because we've seen a lot of that in recent months, so it is interesting to kind of see the tactical take on that.
How often is SWAT used? Are they used on a regular basis? I imagine it goes from department to department, but I guess yours in particular.
Yeah, again, that's going to depend on the agency and how busy they are. We weren't super busy. We served some warrants. We helped narcotics with some different stuff. If we had our own within the investigative division, if we had some warrants that need to be served, we do that. But we worked with some other agencies, their SWAT teams, where they were the full-time SWAT team, because we were mostly a part-time SWAT team, because I was a detective and on the SWAT team at the same time. So it was dual purpose. You got some other agencies that it's a full-time SWAT team. That's what they do all day long.
Wow.
You look at some of the bigger agencies, it's like they're either training or actively, participating in some kind of operation. So again, it's going to depend on the agency, I'm sure. The bigger cities that are, out there having to deal with all this stuff right now are, in full swing.
So when somebody asks, like, Justin, what do you do? How do you even okay, well,
he just throat punches them.
Well, in what manner, because if I'm talking about, my day job or my business, I kind of,
I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Let's say, so are you like a family man as well? Are you married and all of that stuff as well? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a girlfriend, got a daughter. So yeah, definitely a family man.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So let's say you're finding a new mistress, right? No, I'm just playing.
You have to explain to her what I do.
Yeah. Bad example, but I don't know. You're small talk at a pre-COVID line at a grocery store, and you're bullshitting with somebody behind you, and this dude's like, "Oh, what do you do, man?" And you would say, like,
yeah, if I'm quoting my day job, I tell people I'm a cop, and then there's like, the 50 million, questions that come after. What's the craziest thing you saw? What do you do? And then when I say I've been in SWAT, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, tell me the coolest thing you've done. And I'm like, I don't know. My scale is different than you guys because, I've seen so much crazy, dumb stuff that I don't know what's cool anymore. So it's like,
yeah. I don't even know if we have that on our list of questions because I know that you get asked that shit all the time.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
yeah.
As he erases it off the piece of paper. Don't ask this. Never mind. No, I mean, yeah, for sure. Your scale would definitely, I imagine, is way off the charts of any just everyday civilian because
Oh God, I can't. Yeah, I mean, it's.
the most exciting thing we see is like probably our kid running around with a turd and.
yeah, dude, for sure. And it's actually funny you mentioned that because my 3-year-old son shit himself today in his pants. So. That's it. That's life, man. Yeah, because
that's life. That's real life right there, guys. That's real life.
Yeah. Well, he likes to go without a diaper, and he pees in the toilet, but then sometimes he's like, playing, and he just forgets, and
Sure.
And it's funny because here we go, Josh. I'm about to say it. So I'm a plumber, right? That's my day job, and Josh is looking like that because literally every single interview I kind of throw that in, but. My wife deals with more shit than I do, and I'm a plumber, and I just do like new construction and remodel, and she's like, your son shit himself again today, and I'm like, I'm working in like nice clean house installing brand new faucets and toilets. But anyways, that's
enough about him. Anyway, since the listeners have probably listened to that like 20 fucking times. What were your like typical everyday duties as a SWAT officer?
Well, like I said, if we're just referring to SWAT, you're training, you're preparing for whatever operations you have. A lot of the stuff we ran was early in the morning. So if we did get a call, it was like 4 a.m. we're getting ready to go. And so it's like trying to slap yourself awake.
Yeah.
Like, chug some coffee real quick. And then you have a quick meeting about what's about to happen, and we're like, okay, let's do it. We hop in the back of the truck. I was the breacher, so I was the one that got to knock on the door for everybody and let the team in. So that was my favorite part of the morning because
you're being very modest by saying knocking on the door. Like you probably strapped a bomb to that door and said, boom, open up.
My favorite tool was the ram. So it was like a good 45 pound piece of steel that I got to carry around and just knock open the door. You guys might appreciate this story, but because I had my record, I knocked open every door with one hit until this one day. There was one day where we're going to this op, and same thing as I always do. Like I in my head, I thought, I never said it out loud, but I always thought, knock, knock. And I step up to the door because when you step up to the door, there's always a little bit of slack in your front door, right? And so it helps if you just press your foot on it ever so slightly to take the slack out. It helps the door pop open a lot easier. So I take the ram and I swing, and I put the ram right through the door. And the door didn't open. And so I look at it and I go, oh shit, that's never happened before. I'm like, okay, let me swing again. I need to go a little lower because I went right above the lock. Just put a big circle right above the lock. I swing again, and all I did was make the hole bigger. And I'm like, oh crap. Swing number 2. Now I'm freaking out because I'm like, now they know we're here. I'm like, we got to get in. The adrenaline starts hitting, and I'm like, what do I need to do? So I pull the ram out, and I'm like, I know what I'll do. And I shoulder the door, and it was a really, really cheap door. This is why it went through a couple times. If it was a legit door, it probably would have came open, but this was a really crappy door. And it had like the like glass window on the top side.
Oh yeah.
And so when I shouldered the door, it folded in half, and the glass rained down on top of me. And then I don't know if you guys have ever tried to like shoulder a door with a 45-pound steel tube in your hand. You're not really on balance when that happens. So the door folds, it opens, and for the first time ever, I am the first one in the house. But I'm sprawled out on the floor, dropped the ram, and all I could think about is when I hit the floor is there is a train of men behind me that need to come in here. And I felt this big open space to my right. And I was like, shit. So I hopped up, I grabbed my gun, I ducked into the nearest room that I saw. I said, well, this one's mine. And so that was the first and only time I beat the rest of the team into the house. But it definitely was an interesting feeling diving into the floor.
Well, yeah, because you're going in not knowing what the hell is on the other side, and you're not trying to go in, but physics.
So typically, the breacher would just be at door side, slam it open, step aside, let the train go in, and you go in after.
Yeah, you normally I'd be the last one in, or one of the last people in. So yeah, I'd spin off behind and pick up the rear, toss my ram off to the side, and pull out my pistol when everyone else normally had their rifles out. But
sure. And you were the rammer because you're strong as shit.
Yeah, they clearly had to have had a nickname for you.
You know what?
One pump chunk, maybe.
They gave me crap because I didn't drink milk, so it literally my name on the truck just said "Got Milk?" ? And so I was like, "Is that the best you guys could come up with?" I'm like, "Whatever, guys." I'm like, "That's fine," So
yeah, that
was about it.
I mean, they're just jealous of your lack of bone density.
So if you're a criminal, first of all, you suck. But second of all, I guess, buy cheap doors.
Okay, this isn't a fucking criminal help.
Criminals don't listen to this show. As far as I know,
maybe.
But yeah, maybe.
You get a lot of feedback now. Hey, I'm a criminal. Hey.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh no. Oh god. Yeah. Next week, our next guest is going to be a serial bank robber.
Hey.
No. Do you watch like cop shows, like cop TV shows, or is it just too far away from?
Oh, he's already sighing.
I know, right?
I do. My girlfriend tells me I can't watch it with her because I critique it too much. So one I was watching part of recently, several episodes, was Chicago PD, because they were like, it got all these awards, right? And I was like, hey, this isn't bad. And it's not a bad show until they start doing the tactics. And then I'm like, why is someone always getting away? Is no one ever on the perimeter? Like, why do you let so many cops get shot? Why do the detectives go in front of the SWAT team? That doesn't work like that, So I'm like, what the heck are they doing?
Yeah.
So when it gets to the tactics, it gets bad. Probably the best one I've seen is End of Watch. That's probably the most accurate police movie I've ever seen. It was super accurate. The banter back and forth with the guys in the patrol car, the different scenes that they went to and the different events they had to deal with. That was probably the most accurate, police movie I've ever seen. But in general, they're crap.
Yeah, that End of Watch, that's the one about like the two partners, right? And well,
they're like LAPD, and they cover a lot of gang activity and whatnot. So yeah,
really good movie. Josh, have you seen it?
I've not. I've seen like Cream and Coffee and Paul Blart. It's a good one.
I missed that one. Is that something I should watch? I missed it.
That's
super accurate.
The mall cop.
The mall cop. It probably is accurate. It probably is accurate.
It honestly, it glorifies mall cops in my opinion.
Yeah, like in that movie, like he ends up like doing better than the cops on scene or some shit at the end of it, and it's like,
and he's just on his little Segway, like scrolling around the mall.
I'm scared to get on one of those things. I think I'm just gonna spin around and fly off of it.
That's the fun part, man. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you would be scared to jump on a Segway with two wheels, but you'll go like balls deep into a house of crime with your ram.
That's two different things completely. I have control over what's happening in the house of crime, but that spinning two-wheeled thing that has, I don't know how that works. I'm scared of that.
So if you're interviewing somebody and you're asking them about themselves and they'd be like, I really like Segways. You're like, Shit. Okay. I mean, that's
You're
pretty
a tough dude.
You're tough as shit, man.
Mall cop it is.
That's awesome.
Oh shit.
So did you? Oh, we do that every damn episode too. We both.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Josh. Go
All right,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Have there ever been any crazy big explosions? And is it like the movies where you have to look away to be cool, or do you look right at them?
Damn.
You know, the majority of the explosions I've been part of are the flashbangs we use with the SWAT team, but the ones that are really underwhelming, I've been around a few car fires, and they are not like they are in the movies. Definitely not like the explosion you walk away from where there's flames coming everywhere and it's super cool.
A miniature nuke in the back.
Yeah, the first thing you hear are the tires popping, and you're like, "Oh shit, am I getting shot at?" You're like, "Oh no, that was the tires popping."
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's the car's still flaming up a little bit, but no major explosions that are the cool guy walk away from that you gotta make sure you're not looking back.
Yeah, you can't look at it. Yeah, that's been so overdone in movies. It's crazy, but it's almost expected now. So if a movie doesn't do it, it's
gotta
like,
be
he
right.
didn't do it. Yeah, you gotta be. So, speaking of like TV and movies and stuff, did you ever watch the show Cops?
I did watch some of it. Obviously the old school Cops. I remember seeing that back in the 90s and stuff.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think maybe that dates me a little bit, but when that first came out, watching that, and I'm like, oh man, there's some crazy people out there, and I didn't grow up wanting to be a cop, so I probably watched Cops before I wanted to be a cop, and I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. People are pretty stupid out there. Like, how do they even like function in real life?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Florida?
Just driven through.
Man, that's something you'll ask yourself every fucking day living here.
That's
Like, how
where
they
Josh
function.
Josh lives in Florida. Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
they literally call it Florida for a reason. Like,
Sure. I'll
Floridians.
take your word for it.
yeah, we got it all here, man.
Totally crazy.
Just type in- just type in Florida, man.
I always like watching Cops, and there's always that dude with his shirt off outside the trailer. Ah, yeah! It's like just totally like, man, you're going to jail. Like you're.
There's a lot of crazy things. So have you ever like stopped a bank heist?
Jeez.
No, can't say I've done that. That's not a very common
Yeah.
thing.
I feel like
That's a
nowadays-
I don't know. I'm trying to like ask what the coolest story you have without saying it
asking the
because you
question.
told us not to ask.
Okay, I'll share one of the things that sticks with me the most. I was even thinking about it kind of brings me back there for a minute, but I saw this car. They pulled up in front of like a known drug house, and I was like, I'm gonna get this car. And when they started to pull away, they started hauling ass down this residential street, going like 50 and a 30. I was like, okay, I got you. Pulled this car over, and the guy's sitting in there, and he's got his left hand on the steering wheel, and his right hand is crammed in between the seat and the center console. And he's acting funny, and he asked me, he's like, hey man, can I put the car in park? I'm like, yeah, I'll put the car in park. And I'm trying to look in the car, see what's going on. Well, he uses his left hand to reach over to put the car in park. And I'm like, dude, what's in your right hand? He says nothing and throws it in drive and starts to take off. Well, at that point, I thought he had a gun in his right hand. So I was like, if I back up, I'm going to get shot. So I need to grab this dude so I don't get shot. So I end up in his window as he starts driving down the street. And so we got up to about 60 miles an hour, and we went about 6 blocks down the road. And it's interesting when your adrenaline super spikes. Your brain starts working overtime. You start thinking lots of things. I remember the first thing I thought about that is, I need to get in this car and whoop this guy's ass. And I'm trying to get in, but like I'm doing like the Fred Flintstone on the outside of the car, and I have no traction on the outside. And I'm like, well, that's not gonna work. Well, maybe I'll just yank him out and ride him like a surfboard. So now I'm trying to yank this guy out of the car, but he's locked in there on the steering wheel. He's not going anywhere. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I should let go. And I look around and I'm like, oh, we're going fast. I'm like, if I let go, I'm going to get fucked up. Like I'm done. Like, I'm like, so I can't let go. My next thought was, I need to shoot this guy in the face.
Oh my God.
And that was the first time I ever thought I needed to shoot somebody. Well, my right arm is grabbed in on him. My left arm is on the frame. And I look down at my gun that's pinned against the door. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work either.
Yeah.
So he actually, the road came to a T and he slows down to make a left turn. And I'm like, no, we're not making a left turn. So I just grabbed the steering wheel and drove us into the ditch on the other side of the road.
Oh, shit.
And so that stopped that. And yeah, I had some choice words for him when we ended our little trip.
Oh, yeah.
But he went to jail. I think he went to prison for a few years. I heard he's back out. Someone told me that that they came across him, not that long ago. And I was like, well, tell him hi for me.
Yeah, no shit. Did you, I'm sure you found out, did he have a gun on him?
No, it was just a bunch of cocaine.
Why the fuck would you have that? That's such a dumb.
I gotta say, the fact that like I had to beat around the bush to ask this question just to get such a badass story, I'm a little disappointed. But that was an amazing story. Like my heart was racing, my tank was tight, all sorts of things.
Well, it's the amount of adrenaline I can't compare, except when I was going best out of 3 tic-tac-toe with my wife. And that was hard.
That's super intense, man. Like best out of 3. Shit.
Yeah, you can tell his life's exciting.
That's incredible.
Just wait for bingo night. Oh.
Yeah, I can't even do bingo, bro. It's be way too hardcore. Oh shit, we need to get to listener questions too.
We got tons of stuff, but we are running short out of time on this one. We're gonna send you another link, but we will be right back.
It's Justin again with your morning spitball. See if this sticks. Understand that your inner critic will never go away. You have to accept them as a fixture that will always be there. There will be times that it's louder than others, but waiting for it to go away and to be completely quiet, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Accept it. It's there to stay.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are still here with Justin and having fun as always. I was going to start off this next little segment with asking a couple of listener questions. The first one that we got was, what is the weirdest case that you can remember as a detective? Like something that seems weird. I don't know if there are any, but that's...
The case of the clown killer.
Weirdest case as a detective, I don't know. Probably one of the creepiest things I dealt with was this, there was this naked guy running around one night, and he was running through one of these apartment complexes, and it backs up to like a wood. So you have to actually like pass through like a creek to get to the other side. And so one of the officers located him, and he starts going through the creek, and the officer's like, I'm not going through the creek. So I happened to be on the other side with a rookie officer. So we're getting into the woods and chasing this guy. Well, this guy starts like running backwards through the woods, right? And he sees us coming. And the weirdest thing is he's just like, come closer. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, you can't make this stuff up, right? I'm like looking at like, what the heck is wrong with this dude? So I just grabbed him by the back of the neck, shoved him into a branch, told the rookie to cuff him up. And I'm like, all right, this is your arrest. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Didn't even want to deal with it. You're like, he's going to pull some
I'm like,
shit.
No. I'm going home.
The
Here,
paperwork
rookie,
is going to be really
guy.
weird paperwork on this one. So
I mean, that guy was clearly having one of the time of his life.
He was having a good day. We ruined it. We ruined his evening.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
that actually spurred a question I didn't think about asking, but do rookies tend to be over enthusiastic and like wanting to prove themselves right out of the gate, and you have to kind of like suss it down, like tamp it down a little bit? Or Are they usually pretty chill?
I think it's the other way. I think most of the time, like they might be excited and want to get exposed to stuff, but they're scared because they don't know what they can do. They don't know case law, so they're like, I want to do stuff, but I don't want to mess up.
Yeah, that
So
makes
it's like
sense.
it takes a lot to get that out of them and train them up and going, hey, you are allowed to do this. Read up on what you're allowed to do, the laws and case law and everything. So even though they are motivated, I would say that's more prevalent is the rookies that are tentative to take action. So,
well, that's good. You know, you want them to be thinking a lot, you know. So, okay, right on. So the next question.
I'd definitely be a scared rookie. Like my heart is still racing from that last story.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell my wife.
I couldn't even imagine about being in that situation. I would definitely shit my pants, 100%. I mean, it'd be flying out of like from my shoes, like the bottom holes, like hitting cars as I'm going down the road. It'd be too much.
Yeah, that'd be a lot. So we had another question. Somebody asked, you kind of answered it a little bit, but basically it's like, how are you feeling? What is your emotions when you're going to a house to breach? I'm assuming right now you probably go up there and you're like, fuck it, boom. But I'm imagining the first couple times was kind of a.
No, he says knock knock, boom.
Yeah.
No,
boom. It's knock knock. Yeah, you know, there's always an underlying level of anxiety because you never know all the factors going in, all the variables. And anyone that tells you that they're not scared, they're full of shit because there is fear there. And the idea is to not resist it. You need to make friends with fear. You need to know it's there, own it, and go, I'm going to use this as fuel for the fire and do what I need to do. So there's that nervous energy. There was always just kind of like, all right, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Like, and trying to, you know, acknowledge it, calm yourself down a little bit because you don't want to be too amped up because I saw some guys that couldn't handle that level of adrenaline or level of fear, and they would run to the wrong house. And you're like, dude, where you going, man? This way.
Yeah.
So because they were trying to resist the fear so much because what are we taught? We're taught that like, I'm not supposed to be afraid. And so when the fear does hit you, you're like, I don't want this. I want to get rid of this. And so there's this disconnect between the amygdala in your brain and your conscious brain. So it's not meshing well. And so you're not able to function in that type of stress. So there's always that fear level there.
Ooh, yeah, I can't imagine like those situations being in them all the time or more often than anyone else is. That's it's crazy.
In your training, you probably had like a lot of like mental training because I mean you have to have a certain capacity to be able to handle what you guys are going to see, right?
You know, I wish that there was more of it. I wish it was more prevalent. So I actually teach interview classes and leadership classes, and a lot of the big focus is on emotional intelligence. And because people think interview skills is an intellectual skill. I'm going to like, it's the mental chess match. But really interviewing someone is about emotions, triggering the other person's emotions, understanding their emotions, controlling your own emotions. And so that is like, that's a superpower right there. Like being able to control your own emotions or read other people's emotions. Like, I tell people I'm a human lie detector and I practice it all the time, like on my daughter and everybody I come across. My daughter says I can read her mind, but I wish that teaching those skills was more prevalent because when I walk into a group of men and I'm like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about emotions, you know, they look at me like I'm stupid. They're like, hey, you're in the wrong room, buddy. Like that's down the hall. We don't talk about emotions in here. And so it actually takes a few days for them to like really, you know, break down and understand this process and how it's a useful tool in every interaction you have. And so, because I used to think like, oh, if I let an emotion slip out, if I got angry, if I got sad, I was like, shit, I messed up. I couldn't keep the lid on it. And so, but now I laugh at my old self and I'm like, I was just ignorant. I just didn't know how that worked, all the brain science behind it. So I wish that was more prevalent and pushed out more. But I would
agree.
say that the higher level groups, the SWAT teams, detectives, probably have a higher level of that emotional intelligence just from practicing those skill sets on a regular basis.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. I mean, I know that, well, according to TV and stuff, like whenever some really serious shit goes down, then that's when they say, you know, we have counselors and we want you to see this person and this person to talk about it. And then the hero of the story is like, no, I got a job to do, you know, and it's like, yeah. So
yeah.
That's
not good. Yeah, that's the subculture. That's why the average life expectancy for a cop is 58 years old. The suicide rates are through the roof. The alcoholism through the roof. You know, divorce rates. It's not good because most of the officers don't have the tools to cope with that stuff because it's this prolonged exposure to some horrible shit, and it ends up being what's called cumulative PTSD. It may not be from one event, but you know, it's again and again and over and over.
Yeah, it's
like I can recall every dead body and seriously injured person I've ever seen in my life, and I don't like having that Rolodex in my head. It's not a fun thing to spin through from time to time.
No,
not as good as a spank bank, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's not as, you know, useful.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it could be though, if like you're public and like you got to get rid of it. Like, all right, corpse roll.
No.
No.
God damn it, John.
Sorry, too dark. All right, I'll tone it down.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Well, my next question from a listener is.
Quickly.
Do you like donuts?
You know, for years I didn't eat donuts out of spite.
Yeah, I bet.
I was just like, no, I do not.
You didn't want to give in to that.
I will never eat a donut. But probably within the last year, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat a donut.
Okay, yeah, especially not in uniform. You do it in uniform.
Yeah. Oh, never. I would never eat one in uniform. 100%. Never, ever. I won't even go near a donut shop. I'm like, no. I hate that. I hate it with all my might.
Oh man!
The criminal is holed up in a Dunkin' Donuts, and there's no one going into the
I refuse to go in there.
Oh, so is there anything else you want to share with anybody about your Confidence Unchained and what you're trying to do, and a message to people that are maybe thinking about contacting you to do something like that?
Yeah. So my main website is confidenceunchained.com. And there you can find out a lot about what I do and the coaching that I provide to the men. Like I mentioned before, my summit is coming out the end of February 25th, 26th, 27th. It's a 3-day event. We've got like 29 different speakers from all different walks of life. Some really powerful dudes out there. And to get to that is summit.confidenceunchained.com, and it's a free event. So you know, you guys are welcome to come to it. All your listeners are welcome to come to it. It's going to be an amazing event. Like we said, it's a virtual event. You don't have to fly anywhere. You don't have to drive anywhere. You can be in your PJs or, you know, whatever it is, your footsies. You guys look like you wear footsies. You know, pajamas.
I do wear footsies.
I don't even know what footsies are.
What? You don't know what footsies are?
I have no idea.
Dude, they're the one-piece pajamas with the socks included. Like,
I just call them onesies.
Well, no, it's onesies. Okay.
Well, yeah, because that's what I don't know. That's what. No, honestly, I'm in like fucking some ridiculous ass shoe. Like, I don't even know why I'm wearing this right now. Like, I'm not anywhere fancy. Like, it's like I'm at a meeting or something.
He's got penny loafers on. He's like,
and normally I have some like knockoff Crocs, but they're cooler because they have like octagons instead of just bullshit circles.
What are those?
Hey, man, I see. I'm not like a cool, super chiseled badass. I am just some game developing dad bod super gut.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
I feel like I have a pretty sharp mind, but I'm definitely going to attend this summit because this sounds fun. I want to be more badass. I want to be more like, you know, I'm sure Chuck Norris won't even like look you in the eye.
Damn straight. Yeah.
I know. I'm a little afraid of Chuck Norris. He's a badass, man. He's probably like 98 years old right now, and still badass.
I think the only thing he's got on you is the beard, and I can't even say that though. Like this isn't a known beard. This isn't a good one yet.
Yeah, I mentioned this before about my beard. I can't do the full beard because I can't do the mustache because mine does not meet at all in the middle, and I look like a loser. So if my beard goes too long, I look Amish. I can't do that. I'm not an Amish.
Just rock it. Just rock the Amish beard.
Rock the Amish beard. Yeah. It'd be great. People would be like,
you could be the first Amish person on a podcast. That might get us more followers.
Dang. Okay, there's an idea. So, talking about all this stuff, I was gonna start asking you some dumb, weird questions. These are extremely random. They have literally nothing to do with anything we've talked about before.
Got it.
Which I like. So Josh and I talked about this earlier, and I'm gonna bring it up. What's your anger level from 1 to 10 if you're wearing socks and you step in water?
Oh, jeez.
It's
like a 7.
Okay.
It's like a 7 instantly.
I get so pissed off about that.
Yeah, we're like full-fledged 10s, like throwing furniture over.
And okay,
and
it happens to me fucking daily because I have 3 kids and they're spilling water all the time, and I always wear socks because my feet are cold like a woman, and that's okay.
I don't wear socks around the house. So that's a little weird. Like I mean, it's like if I'm getting ready for work and I step, I'm like, damn, I gotta change my damn socks.
Yeah,
I can't put these feet in my shoes now.
So you don't have a pet, do you?
No.
Oh, see, I have 2 dogs, so I wear like my socks and my Crocs because there's times, and still even with my Crocs, there's times I get their like razor thin, stale ass hairs just jammed into my foot, and I feel it like, and I have to like go and pull it out. It's ridiculous, dude. Their hair
sounds dangerous. That's really dangerous.
I don't know. That's like fucking fiberglass dogs or something.
So do you have any guilty pleasures? And I'll give you an example of one that came to my mind when I was thinking of this. I work construction, and I went to a job site, and the dudes on the job site were blasting Taylor Swift, like I guess a new album that she had out, and they were blasting that shit, and it was like 2 electricians, and they were into it hardcore, and I'm just like, this is a little out of place and odd. But that's what they wanted to listen to, and they got there first, so that's the rule of the job site. So is there anything that you would share that's somewhat of a guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. I mean, the first thing that came to mind, my girlfriend gives me crap because I stick like dark chocolate in the freezer, and I'm always snacking on it. And she's like, you should be like 500 pounds. Like, why do you keep like you're just eating chocolate all day long in the freezer? And I'm like, don't judge me. Like this is the only sweet thing I ever eat, and it has to be frozen. So that's probably one of my guilty pleasures. The other one's karaoke. I love singing karaoke.
Man.
So are you like you're singing Barbie Girl up on stage?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's my choice. That's definitely I could have probably sing like 3 words to that song, and then
I do like dark chocolate. I've never put it in the freezer. I do keep it in the fridge. You gotta try it.
It makes it epic.
Well, I have it in the fridge, and I usually have the dark chocolate and mint bark. I love it. Yeah, there you go. But I will try it in the freezer next time.
You know, it would be really amazing if when you sang karaoke, you were like, in like a high voice, because you don't have a high voice. So that would be.
Yeah, actually, can you even do a high note? He's not willing to try.
I don't, this is as high as I get, guys. I can't get anything over this.
So have you ever lost a bet of any kind to where the outcome was having to do something feminine, like wear a woman's bra or something like that? And the reason why I asked that, because it's happened to me before, and I didn't want to be the only one.
And that was the bet? We're doing something feminine?
Well, no, it was.
He had to wear a pants.
I had to wear a bra and high heels. So that was my like, I had to wear a bra and high heels.
The last thing that sticks out to me is like being in high school or maybe college, and
I was in high school.
like having to run around the park naked or something. But there was like, I don't know, there was girls there, so I was like, okay, here you go, ladies.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you think? There you go.
So basically, the key to confidence is be Justin and his long wiener. He's running out there flaunting that thing. So we all got to get the surgery for that extra 2 inches of unused penis. Boom. Then we can start your course.
Yeah.
Because I, my friend, would not run around a field with my thimble.
My thimble.
You just got to own it. You just got to own it and be like, this is what I got. You know, a buddy of mine, he had a good friend he was in the military with, and he said his pickup line for the ladies was like, hey, ladies, I'm hung like a cricket. And then he'd go walk away. And he said somehow they always came back to him. They're like, oh, it can't be that bad. And he'd end up, you know, hooking up with them later that night because they were curious.
Yeah.
He made them curious to see, no, they can't be that small. They can't.
Well,
yeah,
any listeners curious about my thimble, I'm married. Sorry.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, like you would see the girls at like my field with fucking binoculars. Like, is that just a bush? What is that?
And that's when you're like, look, it's cold out, okay? A little cold out.
In Florida.
Yeah, in Florida. Like 98 degrees outside. It's a little cold, man. So what is something that you did a lot of as a child? And it doesn't have to be anything dumb or crazy, just something that you could think of that's like, I did that a lot as a kid.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, I ate a lot. Like, it was like a thing. Like in high school, like, you know, no one even asked if I wanted their leftovers. It was just like they just tossed them my way, and I just ate it. Like, it was, I didn't even care what it was. It was like, oh, your mom made something great, cool, I'll eat that. I'll eat this. Like,
yeah, you become a human garbage disposal.
I completely was a human garbage disposal. Like the friends I had or the girls I dated, their mom liked me more than the girl did because I'd eat whatever they served me.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, when's Justin going to come over? I'm going to cook for him again. I'm like, even though we're not dating, I'll come back over so your mom can feed me again.
Hell
so
yeah.
It was all
Mrs.
about
Peterson, I will come and eat you out. I mean, eat your food anytime.
Yeah, you and I have that in common because I too eat a lot. I still do. We were at a restaurant a few years ago at work, and we were eating the big ass catfish lunch that they had. And I don't know, it was like 4 big ass fillets, and I'm eating, and the other 2 guys, they filled up, and they were like, "Oh, Nick, look at that dude's boots." And I look over, and he had boots, and I'm like, "Okay, sure." Well, I didn't know, but I'd look over, and they'd put a whole new fillet on my plate. And I did not notice, and I just kept eating. Sure. And then one chick came in with like, she had like, not Liberty spikes, but she had like spiky pink hair. And they're like, "Oh, that chick's hair is cool." And I looked over, they did it again. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." And I didn't notice. I had like 6 fillets of fish and had no idea. So
I got challenged to an eating competition recently, and no one believes that the guy's going to beat me. I mean, because he's not. But it's just funny to me. I was like, what makes you think that you could out eat me? And he's like, oh man, I just think I've been eating a lot lately. I'm like, okay, I get it. New Year's resolution. You've been in the gym 3 days in a row. Your appetite's gone up. You're really excited. But I'm like, bro, that's not going to happen. Like we were out eating, and actually like him and his family were at another table. And I tell my daughter, I said, "Hey, that's the guy that challenged me to an eating competition." She's like, "Oh, daddy." She's like, "He doesn't stand a chance. You're going to eat like half the menu." She's like, "Here, I'll help you practice," and pushes her plate towards me. She's like, "Now eat all this." And I was like, nice try, little girl.
That's awesome. So yeah.
When is this eating competition going to? What are you guys eating?
So it was up in the air because there's an all-you-can-eat sushi place by us. It's pretty decent, and then there's a Brazilian steakhouse that we were thinking about. And I was like, well, I mean, you choose the place and time. I'll out eat you wherever we go. I said, but the steakhouse sounds really good because you can pay for my meal. Winner doesn't pay, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that free meal. So
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, good luck, man. I mean, is he a cop friend or?
yeah, but he doesn't
Okay.
stand a chance. So it'll be funny.
Well, I was gonna say he's clean. I was gonna say you gotta be careful for that secret weapon when they just like get really high and have like super munchies and then just out eat anybody. There is the face of disapproval.
He's made that a lot, which means that he doesn't approve of anything you say, Josh. You are,
It's okay. You know what? I've seen him smile quite a bit. I know he likes me deep down inside.
That's true. That's true.
Plus, I said I'm going to a summit. You haven't, so.
Well, shit. I mean, I'll all right. God damn it. Okay, I got 3 kids. I work 55 hours a week. I don't know.
Excuses.
I will do my very best.
See, I like that. That's an honest answer because he almost said I'll do it and then realized it was going to be a lie. And I was so going to call him out on that shit.
Yeah,
and
I
so
don't
he's like,
lie.
oh, look, he's like, I'm going to try. Like, I got some shit going on.
I have no, I get like 2 hours of free time a night. That's it. Cause I got 3 kids and all that shit. So
Sure.
Developing a video game, working on a podcast. Yeah.
No, you need Justin in your life to like straighten your ass out for sure.
I mean, it can
he'll make
help.
you do more. He'll tell you to stop playing those fucking games you just bought.
Yeah, well, that is part of my problem, but at least I know it is. Hey, I worked on the game some last night, so it is what it is. Just So do you like to go fishing?
No, I don't really like it. It's boring to me.
All right. Oh, look at Josh drop this show.
Judge.
This is my face of disappointment now. Okay.
Yeah, that is your face of disappointment.
Like,
what is exciting about it? So, like,
drinking beer.
Is that the exciting part? You're getting drunk.
No, I mean, that's not the exciting part. It's just it's tranquil. It's like a time of peace, and it's exciting when you actually do catch it. Sometimes, you don't catch anything, but I'm a pretty good fisherman. I always catch something when I go. So
is that like your thinking spot when you're fishing? You get to think.
Shower's my thinking spot. I don't know why. I think it's most people's thinking spot.
It's good.
That's where like my life choices have been made.
in the shower, a lot of life choices.
Yeah,
I get it.
But no, fishing. I don't know. I just kind of honestly, I can actually zone out. That's probably the only time I can zone out and clear my head. Just focus on like the water and like everything around it. I don't know. I go to a springs. It's really nice when I go fishing.
I just didn't grow up doing it. I grew up a city boy, and it just wasn't one of those things that I did. So I was like, nah. And I've tried it, and I'm like, okay, what's next, guys? Like, when do we get to eat it? Can we eat these? Why are we throwing them back? That's crap. Why do we throw them back? I want to eat these.
So we want to do like some dynamite fishing. That's fun.
There you go. There you go. Let's go. Like, I think some like deep sea fishing would be good. Like if you got to like wrestle with a swordfish or something, I think that'd be like amazing. But like,
I mean, you have fun with that. I'll watch.
So I did go deep sea fishing, and it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
We didn't catch anything like hardcore, but we caught some big shit. But it was
the exciting thing actually that you would like fishing in Florida is when I go to the springs. There's gators around, so you got to be on the lookout and be ready.
No.
See that'll do. Florida boys will do.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need any gators in my life,
See, it's so weird. Like you'll wrestle a swordfish, something that could just like pierce through you like nothing. But a gator?
Have you seen those things? How fast the gators are? They don't give a fuck.
You just gotta zigzag, man. They can't turn very fast. Just gotta zigzag. Because they have to roll. Yeah, they have to roll to if you go too far right, they end up rolling to get to you quicker when they're mad. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Okay, well, I want to watch you run around a gator, and we'll film it. And we'll put it on the
I'll do it all day.
Website. Yeah, all right, that sounds fun.
It will be.
Can you think of a prank that you did or somebody did on you, whether it was at work or at home or when you were younger, anything? People may have been too scared of you to
I don't think I ever got pranked. I remember pranking my sister when I was younger. Like I'd mess with her. Like I do little stuff. Like those little pop things. The making. I'd tie those to like her doorknob to do that in her room. The worst one that I got in trouble for is she was in the shower and I put a bucket and I filled it full of baby powder and I stuck it above her door. And so when she came out of the shower, her hair was still wet and the baby powder went out. She looked like a ghost. I got so much trouble for that. Like she had to go take another shower, wash her hair all over again. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. But no, that was, I used to mess with her quite a lot. She probably wouldn't appreciate me bringing that up, but oh well.
Yeah, it is what it is. So what is other than training and being a professional at that, what is something else that you would think that you're pretty good at?
I mean, reading people is my thing. Like that's like my jam. Like I like to practice that, man. Like everybody I meet, I'm trying to figure out what they've got going on in the background, because there's a little bit of misconception with detecting deception, because it's one of two things. It's either you're lying or you have a hidden emotion behind it. And so there's always that human factor of trying to figure it out. So it's like the psychology behind it. But for me, it's like it is a little bit of a mental chess match and picking apart what people are thinking. So that's my jam. I practice that with everybody. My girlfriend gives me crap because I can make friends with the Uber driver and learn their whole life story before we get to our destination. I'm talking to the clerk at the gas station to where it's like, oh man, I opened up a can of worms and I need to get somewhere. It's like, so that's my superpower, man.
That's awesome. So would you like to read me?
Oh God. Take your shirt off first, Josh.
It's not gonna help. It'll just distract him.
You're like, detecting a lot of regret with that whole. Oh, that's awesome. So before we let you go, I was gonna ask if there's anything else that you wanted to say or bring to light or tell anybody before you.
To our listeners, to the world eventually when they start listening to us.
I mean, we'll get big. We'll get there.
I'll put one message out there, and there's a lot going on with police right now and people's perception of that. Just judge people for what they do, not what their job is, because you can't lump people together in one big group, because we can't lump all the priests together that have one priest sexually assaults a little kid. We shouldn't be burning down the churches. One teacher does something bad with a kid, we shouldn't burn down all the schools. So just because one officer does something bad doesn't mean that everyone's bad. We can't lump people into groups like that. So judge each person by the actions that they take and the actions that they don't take, and think for yourselves.
Exactly.
100% agree.
We're all people. Like I wasn't sitting here this whole time thinking like I'm talking to a cop. I'm talking to fucking Justin. This is cool. We're having a good time. This is like, I never once was thinking like, oh, no, like it's.
I was the one like, oh my God, we're about to talk to a SWAT officer. I wonder what kind of cool stories he's got. How many things he's blown up. Oh man.
I just
had to cool off. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate the mix of humor and to be able to like pull it out and be serious, in between. So really excited I was able to come on the show and be on a different kind of podcast than I've been on a lot lately. So I really appreciate it, guys.
We appreciate your presence. You're definitely, we honor your service and everything you do for the people of your community.
Speak for yourself, Josh. I'm just kidding. Well, you said we, but I do too.
Oh, well, I mean,
I was trying to be an asshole, but a joking asshole.
All right. But no, in all honesty, and more people need to definitely hear that message, because
I couldn't agree more.
I can't fathom how we've mustered this level of stupidity towards certain things. Like it's just mind-boggling. So I'm glad there's still good people out there, and I look forward to checking out that little summit there, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited, guys. I'm excited to have you guys check it out, and I hope that your audience can get some good insight out of that as well. So again, I appreciate you guys having me on the show, fellas.
Oh, dude, at any time, it was totally awesome. Loved it.
Absolutely, anytime.
Wonderful.
So, look forward to maybe talking to you again, Justin.
Awesome, appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care.
Hey guys, it's Justin again from Confidence Unchained, and I just want to give you a little tip that I use for myself, especially working at home. It makes it real easy when I need to break up my day and just give myself a short break in between projects that I'm working on, or interviews that I'm doing, or conversations that I'm having. I'll just sing. I'll just sing to myself out loud, guys. You know, and my favorite is Johnny Cash. So if I were just going to break out and, yeah, I hear the train a-coming, it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on, but that train keeps a-rolling on down to San Antone. Then I go back to work. Have a great day, guys.